Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming back for what is technically episode 3. I apologize for the delay here. Um, I was planning on recording and releasing one episode every week, but unfortunately, I found out when I was recording Sunday night that all of the video I recorded is totally corrupt, so I basically have 2 hours worth of audio that have no visuals to go with it. So, I'm gonna give you a quick little rundown of what happened when I played 50 turns on Sunday. Um, we haven't been declared war on, which is shocking. As you can see, Russia is slowly enclosing us, but I rescued some of Catherine's soldiers. We have a fairly good relationship with each other. We've made a declaration of friendship. We have open borders and a defensive pact with each other. So I'm hoping that I have set the stage for Catherine to keep away. You may notice that we have made some significant technological improvements since the last time you saw as well. Over the course of our last 50 turns, after I finally was smart enough to send out our spy over to Montezuma, in the course of those 50 turns, that spy probably stole 8 technologies for us. So we went from the original bowman and the original spearmen to pikemen and musketmen in the course of maybe 15 turns, because maybe it's because of the difficulty. I have never seen a spy in this game work that fast, but while Russia is fighting with somebody, I still don't know exactly who it is. She sent her entire army. I guess I could look at world diplomacy. Let's just see who she is at war with. With the Babylonians. Okay. So that explains, because she had her entire army somewhere over in this area on its way to Babylon. Soon she will be fighting with Assyria. Assyria not only just started this city, but used a great general to steal Catherine's land. So hopefully she redirects her troops and her anger at them for a little while longer. But I will say, with our territory, with our soldiers, with our defensive positions, I feel confident that we, in the near future, even now with having a lot of pikemen that I'm slowly phasing out to replace with musketmen to get ready to keep them moving and upgrading, I feel like we would stand a decent chance to actually hold out. What I'm really hoping for in these next 50 turns for this episode is, for one, I am praying that at some point we get a great engineer, because I need to get a tile improvement factory somewhere in our territory so we can build things faster. You can already see that in the time that you last saw, Russia did eventually send her missionaries down and convert us, which is one of the things that I'm hoping will keep us alive. But she has also... She still is a little bit. Oh, no, she's not now. She was trading with us, and that also sped up. She had 6 different trade routes going with us, and each one of them was worth 7 science. So with all of that combined, we were able to catch up in technology extremely quickly. But as you can see, I mean, we've got musketmen in the field, and I haven't even finished education yet. So our goals for the next 50 turns: first, we need to finish modernizing the military. On this first turn, I'm going to upgrade our last composite bowman to the crossbowman. And then we are going to focus on the next probably 15 turns. We're going to keep replacing the pikemen with musketmen. Eventually, we will also have 2 or 3 more of the ranged ships you can see in the Prism Harbor over here. That is going to be the more ranged weaponry we can get, the better. So I'm going to load up our little lake. I'm going to load a ship into Prism City itself, and then we'll have one more sitting here. And with all of that combined, between the crossbowmen, Prism City's ranged attack, and the 3 ships. My strategy, if we are invaded, really, is, and you can kind of see why I have these men lined up like this, is if Russia does attack, whether it's from over here or from over here, if I can position my troops in such a way that it encourages her AI to send the troops this way. I want to try to keep the waterway unobstructed so that these guys, the city, the ships, and then if I need to, we can move these folks into position. All of them can just bombard the absolute shit out of any of the troops that come towards the Prism City. We should be relatively safe from this side of the ocean. If worse comes to worse, I'll probably keep 1 or 2 units over here just to keep an eye on the coastline. But it seems overwhelmingly likely that she does have an island. I may have to retract that statement later or eat some crow. But it seems most likely that she would send troops this way rather than via the sea. But most of the barbarians are gone. Russia has kind of helped us in that way, and that she sent a bunch of her troops down around our territory. I don't think this one is still here anymore if I sent troops over there. So for the most part, my original concern if Russia attacked us was that I would not only have to station half the damn army up in the northwest part of the country to repel her troops, but also keep enough troops in the southeast part of the country so that when the barbarians show up with those axemen, that we would actually be able to repel them. Even if they would, I highly doubt they would have ever been able to take the Prism City, but every damage that they would have done to our defenses would have certainly made it easier and easier for Russia. So the water strategy for right now is the main one. That may change as Russia progresses if they start to build any naval vessels. At least until we get to refrigeration. Once we have refrigeration in submarines, we will just absolutely load up this little Great Lake right here to protect ourselves from anything that's going to be coming from through the water. So that's our main focus. Other than that, in the last 50 turns, Napoleon still has a defensive pact with us. Pretty much every country in the world has declared war on China. I'm really disappointed that I didn't get to show you the effect that I was planning in the last episode. I was going to have a counter of how many times in 50 turns countries asked us to declare war on Wu. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, like in 50 turns, we were asked 12 times. Eventually, they stopped asking, and now, at this point, let's see if she is still... Oh, I still have to do that, too. Yeah. It was... okay. So she was also at war with Napoleon, but they must have made peace. And at the end of episode 1, Napoleon was also at war with Gandhi, and that war ended and nobody gained anything. A bunch of people died for nothing. Very appropriate metaphor for war. Other than that, you can kind of get a sense of what all is going on in the world. The countries, there's a bit of a trifecta that is forming in the world. I'm by far the least valuable member of this tripartite pact, but it's as of right now, it's Catherine, Hiawatha, and then us. The three of us have sort of been forming a little something. So we'll see how that develops. If we can maintain a good relationship with Russia, especially because it's almost time for us to have to select an ideology. Normally, I prefer to go down the freedom ideology because one of the abilities in the freedom ideology, if you have never picked it, is increasing your influence by 3 influence per turn just by having a trade route with a city-state. And especially playing as Venice, that is an extremely valuable tool. But unfortunately, because of the nature of this game, whatever one Catherine picks is the one that we will pick. We will be the Belarus to her Russia. So that's the current strategy. Can kind of see the rest of who all we have out here. The Aztecs have been the ones that we stole all of our technology with. He's already really angry with me because I told him that I was going to stop. I promised I would stop spying, but I didn't because there is no way. I mean, he would have to travel literally to the other side of the world to come and get me. So we had to do what we had to do, and what we did worked out very well for us. So that's our plan. I'm going to get started. We're going to keep upgrading troops. We're going to get rid of these pikemen, replace them with musketmen, get a few more ships out into Prism Harbor, and then we'll just go from there. It is a little concerning that Russia has a couple of units right here, but I think that it's far more likely that Russia is coming in into this area to deal with Assyria rather than us. So we're going to get started, and then I will check in with you as soon as something interesting happens. Quick update. The entire world in the last few turns has declared war on the Mayans. Korea and Mongolia, pretty much on their own, are methodically destroying their territory. As you can see, they've essentially surrounded their capital at this point. This is mostly bad news for us because this is where our spy is, and when the city falls, we will have to establish a spy in a different city, and it will take way longer for us to be able to continue to steal technology. So hopefully they can make peace with somebody before that happens. But we also just got word from our friends, I can't remember which country it was. I think the Iroquois are the ones. He just warned me that Assyria is plotting against me. But because of our defensive pact with Russia, unless Russia's about to stab us in the back, then I'm not too worried about it. She is she's almost becoming a protective cocoon around us, which kind of helps us in 2 ways here. For one, she can act as a shield against other countries, and for 2, if she does attack us directly, because she's the shield, as long as we have at least one ally to come to our defense, it will mean that she has to pull troops away from us to deal with that threat. So we're walking a fine line still. Somehow we're still alive on turn 199, but that's currently the state of the world as of right now. And, not much to report. It's been a very slow, only having Prism City to be able to churn out our units. We are slowly making the progress. We just finished another one of our ships. We're currently researching navigation. We have the iron ready so that we can hopefully get us some frigates. And, we will just keep on trying to protect ourselves. All right, another update. So, as you can see, quite a lot has happened in this last turn over here, but the most important is that Russia and Napoleon, both of whom are our ally, at least for the time being, have declared war on Assyria. So I'm going to make a little bit of a brash move, and because Russia and Napoleon are squeezing them from and already sacking different parts of their city, and because Assyria was already fighting, as you can see here with Bangalore, was already fighting with India, we're going to do something a little crazy and hope that works out. and we are going to send our army down and join the war and try to take at least this city. Hopefully we can take both of them and puppet them. So, yeah, we're about to sending the troops in already. I wish that and the other reason is, even though you cannot produce units from other cities, you can still buy things with gold. And my hope is that with at least this city, we can build a small navy to protect Prism City's coastline. So that's the strategy right now. We are gonna hope that it doesn't backfire on us. Worst case scenario, we only take one. Best case scenario, we take both of them. When Russia and Napoleon end their conflict, we will plan on also backing out of the war at that time. As you can see, in other news, Russia has gotten to the point that they already have great war infantry while we still have musketmen. So once again, we were relatively caught up for a period of time, but it's all falling. We're falling very far behind once again. So it's a little bit risky for me to send my military down here to go sack and hopefully conquer this city, but let's see how it goes. New update. Right now, we are still in the midst of our first siege. We are winning. Our biggest obstacle is really just that I didn't prepare for siege offensive warfare. So really just using the crossbowmen and attacking with the musketmen is going to drag this out. But there are no Assyrian troops in sight on the western side here. So it looks like, I mean, they were already gonna be suffering battling against Russia and Napoleon in two-pronged attack, but it's surprising that, and even this cannon, they just finished that, so that just must have rolled out of their production like just a turn ago or something. So as of right now, this is what we are still focusing on. We're continuing the attack against them, and then we might only be able to get the one city. Russia is already making a bit of a small attack on this other city, but we'll see what happens. This one, of course, as mentioned, is the most important objective in this small war. So, we're just going to keep on going and see. Hopefully we can get ourselves into a position to take this city. I've even maybe counting my chickens before they hatch kind of deal, but we are already building the road to connect these cities together, because at this point I feel very confident that we at least will have Sultan Tepe, or however you say that, the name of that city. But primary goal while we're fighting right now is to simply pillage and not lose any troops. We don't want to have to try and rebuild any of our army. So on the next turn, we should have Sultan Tepe, or however you say it, and then we will move over and try to encircle this city. Russia's sending their siege weaponry east rather than south, which is a downside because I was hoping we could encircle cities and let Russia do the bombardment while we actually take the territory. But if this is what we have to do, if just a small little conquest here, that's still good enough for us. And mind you, this popping up from Gandhi, he just called me a vermin not but 3 turns ago, and now suddenly he wants to be friends, now that we're both fighting the Assyrians. Since right now Assyria is fighting against us, Russia, Napoleon, and India. So basically they're fighting all this entire, a huge swath of territory is who they're up against. And that is, of course, Babylon, who has been wrecked by every country to the point that even halfway across the world, I bet even we could knock him out at this point. So, yeah, we'll keep the fight going, and then I will report back soon. Alright, the first objective is complete. We have taken the city that we needed. So, it doesn't look likely that we will be able to take this settlement, but I'm still waiting to see Russia's plan of conquest here. Russia tends to have a tendency to not conquer cities, but rather just raise them entirely. So we will have to sort of wait and see if she does take this. I don't want to overextend my relatively small military. As you can see, I mean, we have less than we almost have the average being 204,000. Yeah, our military is so incredibly small. But at least when it comes to literacy, for once, I mean, granted, we are the ones dragging the average percentage down, but at least right now we are within 10% of the average, despite being almost 20 techs behind Russia. But yeah, everything seems to be going a little bit better. Russia is no longer the biggest military in the world, so we will keep fighting this war for a little bit longer, and I will update you once we have more news. Well, this is an interesting development. It's a good thing I didn't overextend my military. I was not expecting Montezuma, when he's already at war with so many other countries, to declare war on me. So let's see if my defensive packs hold, because apparently they did not. So if Montezuma is declaring war on me, then that means somebody else is probably doing it with him. Now that is an unexpected turn of events. For Montezuma to try, after I was just talking smack about him, for him to declare war on me with no assistance from the other side of the world, not what I was expecting. I highly doubt he will even be able to get to me, but I guess there's really only one way to find out and see how this war plays out. We are slowly but surely still modernizing the military and expanding our army anyway, even though we are only able to really churn out a very limited number of older troops. But our finances are good. We no longer have a penalty for having too many soldiers for how small we are, which was another big factor and why I decided to gamble on declaring this war, and hopefully Montezuma declaring war on me doesn't come back to bite me on this. But
Здравствуй. Говори.
That explains it. We both declared war in the time, so it shattered all of our defensive pacts. I better go ahead and try to remake this pact with her and with Napoleon, in case anybody else tries to join with Montezuma. Ugh. Alright, well, we'll just keep holding out hope that Montezuma can't get to us, Because he's still at war, yeah, as you can see. I mean, he doesn't have any soldiers. I'm surprised he technically still has a bigger army than we do. So, yeah, good for you, Russia. Okay. Yeah, so it seems like he was pulling a Germany and declaring war for virtually no damn reason. Dang it. Oh, okay. So this is what we anticipated anyway. I had a feeling Russia wasn't actually going to keep these settlements, so it doesn't matter anyway. Even if we didn't get that, the settlement that we got, that should help us. We should still be able to grow our territory enough to keep it going. Fine. So, yeah, that's where things stand as of right now. Montezuma is the first country who actually declared war on us, and of course it was after we declared war and canceled out our defensive pacts, but hopefully if anybody's gonna try to side with Montezuma now, Russia can still act as a deterrent for them. So, yeah, we will keep the fight going. Normally I only play for like 2 hours, but this, trying to get our country up to speed and some of the developments that have happened in the world have made this a longer playthrough than I was planning. So, yeah, we will keep this going, and I will update you with any news from the front. Alright, another development. Let's see what happens. I knew he had already been calling us vermin, but if India is declaring war, hopefully that defensive pact that I just made with Russia comes into play, and she can help us. I can imagine Gandhi was probably not allied to Montezuma, so I'm still anticipating that anytime one of them declares war, that it means that another... Oh good, Catherine did come in to help us, thank God. So, let's see if he is joining Montezuma or if he's part of a different plan. The whole world's going to shit over over our one tiny little country. I knew I was opening the door for some craziness when I declared war. The AI is smart enough to know to take advantage when your back is turned. So, and he did. He went and did it by himself. I can't believe it. I'm surprised. I really thought that these wars were going to be coordinated attacks against us. I'm shocked at this. But this is where what we talked about before comes into play. Russia acts as our golden dome, for lack of a better word, and to match her color. I'm not that worried about it. Even though India does have a huge, way more advanced military than us, they're going to have to get through Russia to get to me. So, as of right now, we are at war with Assyria, who actually we're going to try and see if we can negotiate out of that war now. Nope, not yet. I don't think it's actually been 10 turns yet, or maybe higher because of the difficulty. We'll have to look and wait and see a little bit, but I think we still have 2 more turns just to even get to 10 turns since we've been at war with him. But we're going to slowly try to get our way out of the wars and take our settlement and go. Another benefit is that Russia had shifted most of their trade away from Prism City and into India after we built the East India Company. And so with this declaration of war, Russia will have to basically shift most of her trade back to us, which will be a huge benefit to us for science. As you can see, 9 science for each trade route. We don't have the manufacturing capacity to build up all of our trade routes yet, but if Russia has to shift hers away from India and down to us from all of her cities, even 2 more will vastly speed up our ability to get at least somewhat caught up. We really need to get to rifling, even if most of the world at that point will be at normal industry or at normal infantry units. So, yeah, this playthrough may consume a lot more of my time today than I originally anticipated. No news from the front with Assyria as of now. Russia has slowly been pushing them back. She might be more inclined to negotiate now that there's the war with India going, but we'll see what happens from here. Hopefully this doesn't give Napoleon reason to backstab us and Russia. He did not want to renew the defensive pact, which is a little concerning. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see from here what happens next. And then, yeah, with our tripartite pact, we will slowly keep shifting away from Napoleon and towards, hopefully long-term, towards Russia and the Iroquois. So, yeah, the war goes on. I'll update you from the front soon. Alright, it looks like our pact may be getting a little bit stronger. China is in sort of a vulnerable position. They sit kind of, you can see in the mini-map, they sort of sit right in the middle of all the other major powers over in the eastern side of the world. Our western area is really only dominated by Russia, so China just announced a declaration of friendship with the Russians, and between us, Russia, and the Iroquois, we might be bringing China into the fold. So we'll have to see what happens with that. We are almost to the point where we can get rifling. That was a big objective for us to be able to keep doing that. We do already have Lancers now, but it's just cheaper and a better use of our money if I wind down and eliminate all of our anti-cavalry units for the time being. We may need anti-tank guns at some point in the future, but really this game is just about trying to stay alive rather than trying to conquer the world, at least for the time being. If things... Russia did continue their push east. They took the Assyrian town that had stolen the land from Russia. Lord knows I knew that was going to happen as soon as I saw that had happened on the map. Doesn't look like there have been any shots fired between Russia and India anywhere on the map so far. So in all likelihood, what they're just waiting for at this point is... Still not going to negotiate. It's more than likely that Russia is just waiting for the time to lapse so that they can back out of the war. But even at that point, even if Russia backs out and leaves us on the war and India won't negotiate with us, we still have the benefit of Russia not, in all likelihood, allowing them open borders. So the Indian army would have no choice but to either come through this very tight corridor, or they'll have to come through the ocean. And basically, no matter which way they come from, for the way that India would have to attack us, we are pretty ready for that for right now. Finally, an update. It took forever, but we have officially made our first peace deal with Assyria. So we are finally out of that conflict. Nobody else is ready to negotiate yet. I'm guessing it's because of how long you have to go before you can make a peace deal. But soon enough, India is going to have no choice but to back down as well, as... when I last provided an update, Russia and India were not really trading blows, but that has certainly changed in the time since. Russia has been able to conquer several of the Indian cities, including razing 2 of them to the ground and currently in progress of burning down this one as well. Well, it didn't take long for a follow-up update here. It looks like we're about to be sneak attacked by Pocatello. So, this is about to be even more interesting. I guess we're gonna have to see just how large his army is and if it ever truly shows, but at least as of right now, the world is a mess. We did renew our we were able to renew our defensive pact with Russia again. So if Pocatello does declare war on us, we will at least have Russia with us to back us up in that conflict as well. But slowly but surely, we are rolling out upgrading our musketmen into riflemen. Exactly what I had predicted for the conflict with India. It has forced Russia to change and start trading with us, which has made we are making so much more money and are able to progress in science so much faster because of all of these, 45 additional science that we're getting from trade routes from Russia, in addition to another 18 that we're getting from our trade routes we initiated with them. So if you can imagine, right now we're getting 125 science per turn, and 63 of that is coming from Russia. So over half of our ability to research right now is exclusively dependent on our trade with them. So every tech that we're researching, the amount of time would be twice as long if it wasn't for Russia. That's kind of where we're at with preparing for this. Luckily, ending the war with Assyria right now, even though Russia and Hiawatha... Oh, shoot. I'm so glad that I just noticed that, since that makes our defensive pact null and void. We need to renew that immediately with both of them. Okay, so now we're back on track. If Pocatello attacks us, he will be getting attacked by our two closest allies. Russia and Hiawatha are both focusing on Assyria, which is great. And then we just got to keep trying to push for faster tech. We did manage to get to unlock industry. Next turn, we'll be able to produce Big Ben so we can have even more money in case we are declared war upon, so our units don't disband if we lose too much money. That's basically our focus right now. We're kind of almost a pseudo North Korea right now. We're entirely supported by Russia, but also waiting for and expecting them to turn on us or to lose their support at any moment, especially when that India and Russia war comes to an end. When that peace is negotiated and Russia changes back to trading with them, that is going to be a huge blow. So we are trying to get as much as we can before that happens. Montezuma still won't even negotiate with us, even though he is still fighting his war against like 8 different countries. And then Pocatello does have this settlement right here, just a stone's throw away from our new territory. So we're just going to keep focusing on that and hoping that Russia can continue to be distracted by their other conflicts in the world and focus on bigger fish to fry until we can hopefully build up more tech to support ourselves. If, God willing, we can find uranium when we eventually reach that point, we really just need at least enough uranium to build one bomb. And then with that one bomb, we can hopefully keep ourselves alive. And I'm going to go, at that point, if that happens, I will call this challenge a win. So we're going to keep on focusing on that, focusing on our self-sustainability with our gold per turn. And then, yeah, I'm probably going to call it quits here in a couple more turns just because this session of where I normally only wanted to play for 2 hours because of how interesting this episode has been, we have, I'm going to have to cut down almost 3.5 hours worth of footage to be able to make this episode. So we're gonna play a couple more turns, and then I will be back with the recap of everything that has happened in this episode. Another peace deal has finally been made before we come to the end here. Now we have managed to slowly, hopefully, untangle ourselves from the opening that we gave, and then get out of here. Look at that, perfect timing. We are now finally at peace with all of the other countries, and hopefully we can use this time to keep progressing again. We got what we wanted. We didn't get all we wanted, but you hardly do in life. But we were able to get the most important city, and the best part of the deal is that I thought Russia was going to back out of this war with India and leave us to struggle on our own, but looks like India may have made a fatal mistake, and Russia is going in for the kill on this one. So, if all goes well, we need to get some coal so that we can either get some coal so that we can progress, or we need to get a few more technologies so that we can get past the industrial era. Russia and the Iroquois both chose the order ideology, and that works for me. So as soon as we have the opportunity to ingratiate ourselves a little bit more with them, we're going to take it. Right now, we are still... You must be out of your mind. Yeah, so right now we are finishing up our last bits here. Russia is still a major provider of our research for the time being, but let's see. That's fine, we'll let you keep doing that. So we're just going to keep focusing on modernizing and expanding the military. Hopefully, if everything goes well, we will be able, and then before the end of this, I wanted to end when we were finally at peace with everybody again, so it all lines up very well. Probably going to call it quits at the end of this turn, assuming nothing crazy happens. But we're going to do a quick recap. Don't even worry about that defensive pact. We've made like 35 different ones with her at this point. That's just one of many. We're going to take a quick gander around the world and check on all that is happening. And while that is going on, we're also going to... Actually, you know what? I wonder if, do you have any? Nope, but you've got some uranium. Hopefully she holds on to that, because Lord knows if we could trade for that later on, that would be a huge help to us. Now he shows us friendly. Let's see. Will you give us some coal? What about... Wasn't expecting it to be quite that easy. Yeah. So that's basically what we're focusing on right now. Building up and expanding the army, upgrading our troops to be the best we can, at least the best we can get, even though they are still certainly lacking. But, you know what? We'll go ahead and we'll send you up there, and we'll send you here. Upgrade. Yeah. We're getting along, but you can already, I mean, you can see right here just how far behind we still are. Right, the only reason we're even focusing on fertilizer right now is because after that we can research dynamite to build our own artillery units and get a little bit more range. And once we can get that, then I can set up some much more advanced defensive positions. Frankly, I can't even believe that we have lived this long. I thought for sure we were going to die before we even got this far in this game, especially with how big Russia keeps getting. My mind is blown. So, state of the world. Russia is back at war with Assyria again. Russia took this city, burnt it to the ground, and the Assyrians sent settlers back out as soon as the peace was declared, and they just built another one. So Russia's back to apparently teach them a lesson. They are also re-expanding over here. Pocatello is down here, and his empire sort of expands across the southern part of Pangaea. We don't really have. I never sent any scouts down there. We've really got the northern coast covered, but have no clue what the south really looks like. I'm assuming that Pocatello has a very, very large country. He has 200% the value of population that we do. So I'm assuming it's quite large. Babylon has essentially been eliminated from the map. Another country must have also been virtually eliminated. I'm guessing it's Genghis Khan, since at this point we now have the 10th largest army in the world. So we're going to keep pushing. We're back down to being 11% below average when it comes to literacy, which is not great. But with our technology, we should be getting a little bit more. Hopefully our spy in Delhi will be able to help us close the gap even further by having two spies stealing tech. Napoleon is no longer guaranteeing us. Our relationship still shows as being friendly, but when we try to... Oh, I say that, and now he actually is okay with renewing the defensive pact. So all things told, the way the world stands right now, India's on the way out. Russia just keeps getting stronger. Assyria wiped out Babylon, so they must be at least moderately strong. Pocatello is the strongest country in the world, and they were marching a sneak attack on us. China is still somehow holding on in the center of 4 different major empires. Montezuma is still at war and is on the way out. We have no idea really what's going on in Korea, although he was a major participant and was in it as... It appears he took or burnt down one of the Aztec cities that was right here. That's kind of where we stand. Nobody has been entirely eliminated, but Babylon is certainly on its way out. And then over here, the Iroquois were able to take... Okay, so he still does have a city. We're able to take virtually all of the Mongolian territory as well. So we're going to call it for this episode, and then when we come back next time, we will see what happens then. We have managed to win an offensive war and survive a defensive war. I would barely call Montezuma even a conflict, since I was correct that he never even got close. I don't even know why they went through with declaring war on us in the first place when they were at war with half of the eastern side of the world, but everything looks decent. India was never able to break through, and by the end of their war with Russia, India as a threat will be entirely eliminated from the western side of our continent in this game. So, we're going to call it quits there. We're going to call this episode 2 and 3. So, I'm excited to keep this going. I'm still amazed that we're alive. I'm flabbergasted every time I keep thinking about it. So we'll call it, and then we will see you on the next one. The next one should be on schedule. I'm going to plan on recording on Sunday as planned, and then episode 4, basically, that will come out on as planned on Monday. So thank you again for sticking around, and I will be back in a couple of days.